is actually no Jewish schools around me, so I don't get that kind of education. It's secular.
Hi, this is Rabbi Ezra Sarna. I say one of the shiurim on the All Mishna app, and I'm here with Julian, who sent me an email about one of the Mishnayos, and then we developed a relationship. I want to introduce you to Julian. Julian, I got an email from you. Can you tell me how you got my email and why you emailed me?
So basically, I started learning the Mishnayos on Masechta Shekalim, and basically, so I wanted to start with that one because that was actually, before about it, I heard about Daf Yomi, but I hadn't actually heard about Mishnah Yomi. So I wanted to start learning it. So I learned with your shiur because it was the first one I saw and the easiest one to understand. And then I started to have some questions. And then by pure coincidence, you put your email at the end. So I was like, oh, I have some questions. Maybe I should email him. So, yeah.
You know, it wasn't pure coincidence. I actually put my email there on purpose because I want to give people the opportunity who are listening to ask any questions that they might have. And I actually love getting emails from people because it gives me a chance to know who is watching my shiur, and I can correct anything or clarify anything, and I just love getting to know the people who are listening. So, how old are you, Julian?
So I'm 11 years old, and, you know, tiny bit late because you're meant to start learning Mishnah at 10, but it was just really good to start learning, really, really intriguing.
What were some of the most fascinating things that you learned?
Probably I love how right now in Masechta Sukkos, I find it really interesting about all the different things because you have to think logically, like, would this be considered kasher? Would, like today for example, half of your body sitting inside the sukkah and half of your body sitting out of it. You just think, and then you hear the arguments between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai, and it's just really, really interesting.
So Julian, how did you even find Al Mishnah? How did you find my shiur?
It was actually through. So first of all, I saw the videos, the advertisements on ArtScroll, because obviously before when I started, I was just like, well, I'll just use the ArtScroll Mishnayos. But then I saw the thing on there because they were distributing the Mishnayos along with all Mishnah. I thought, this looks interesting. Maybe I'll check it out. So then eventually, after a while, I checked it out. On the first day, it was really hard. I looked through basically almost every one of them, and I just found the visual is really helpful. I find it a bit hard to concentrate sometimes, but it really, really is helpful, and it just makes it so much easier.
So you obviously are a very intelligent kid. Like, do you find this more engaging than school, less engaging than school? Is it like a nice compliment to school?
Well, actually, it is a nice compliment to school, but there is actually no Jewish schools around me, so I don't get that kind of education. It's secular. So what I basically do is I learn with my parent, I learn by myself, but then that's a really good thing for people who can't really, because it's basically online, all the lessons you can get, all the lessons you need, all the education about Mishnah. It's complete. It has the Mishnah on the website, it has the shiurim, it has just so much, because obviously it's not like another country where you can just go to a shop, buy a set. It's a lot more complicated. So that wasn't really a thing I was aware of, but then I just heard and I saw, and through learning about the different things, I was just like, well, it sounds like a really good idea to start learning it, to let me learn even more.
So Julian, you watch on the website, on the app. Do you find it easy to use? Is it hard to use? Is it complicated?
It's really easy to use the app. sometimes I found, for example, when I just use the actual text, just this, the notes are really helpful. You can see at the bottom, but then, because it's basically like that. But when you just read the text straight up, it made little to none sense for me. And I just tried. I looked and looked over it, even if it's just two short, basically paragraphs. I looked, but then with all Mishnah, there were so many things that I could find without listening. It's basically, and the way it's illustrated and the way it's talked through, it's in such a good way that it's so great.
That's amazing. And if you had to speak to other kids out there who said, Mishnah's probably too hard, or I can't really do it, or I'm not smart enough, what would you say to them?
I felt like, oh my god, I'm going to be in this for 5.5 years for one cycle, and this is going to be so hard. But then I just tried, and it's just really easy. It's a really good routine to get into. You always feel like you learn something, and just do it every day, and it just makes it so. I don't know how to say it. It's just great.
So, Julian, you've been learning so much. You've been learning every day. Has the learning you've been doing, has it helped you in your own feeling as a Jew, in your own being proud of a Jew, in your daily life as a Jew? Has it impacted you?
Yeah, it really has. It's, for example, I even before, because I didn't grow up in it, and it was so hard to keep Shabbat that I just didn't at all. Now I've done that. I do it every week, no matter what. It's really hard having people around you not doing it, but you see and you just imagine, you think about the stuff you've learned and you're thinking, what I'm learning this for. Basically in the center of town there's a synagogue, and I just decided, right, I'm learning this. I want to go there, because we used to never go, but now we try and go.
And when you dream about, you started this Mishnah learning, what are your dreams after, in 5.5 years, when you finish the whole cycle, when you've done the whole thing?
Start again. Just start again, because it's always different. Like, I can go over, look at it 1,000,000 times, and you learn something each new times. I'll definitely, when I'm a bit older, I'll start learning Gemara, but I won't give up on Mishnah, because it's really connected to every bit of everything Jewish.
Let me ask you one more question. The Mishnah, the letters of Mishnah, Mem, Shin, Nun, Hey, when you rearrange them, they spell the word Neshama.
Soul.
You know that already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you think the connection is between Mishnah and Neshama?
Because it's like the soul of the Jewish people, just like you say the Torah is the heart. It's like the soul, because it's the two parts given on Har Sinai, and that is just the other part, and it's still as important, and it's still as wonderful and as interesting.
I wanted to tell you that you may feel like you're benefiting from this year, and I'm so glad that you are, but I definitely benefit more. I get so inspired from people like you. You might think, who am I? I'm a kid living, where I live, but getting your emails was like adding to my neshama. I felt like I was on fire. Knowing that people like you are watching the Mishnah, gives me strength and gives me motivation to keep doing it. And I really appreciate the fact that you emailed, and I encourage you to always reach out if you ever have any questions.
I really encourage people to just, if they have a question, reach out, because you feel a bit shy at first, but then once you realize, you may say, oh, it doesn't relate to me now. The avodah in the Beit HaMikdash, it doesn't relate to me now. Why would I do that? There's no Kohen Gadol, there's no Kodesh HaKodeshim. Why do I need to learn this? But it's related to every single part of Yom Kippur. It's what it's based on, and that can relate to literally everything, even if it seems completely unrelated.
Julian, anything else you want to say to people out there?
Just learn it. There's no age too young, there's no age too old, and you think about it, oh, it's going to be a big It's going to be a big thing that you're carrying on your shoulders, hauling around with you. No, it's hauling you around. It builds a routine. It builds. It helps you learn so much. It encourages you to learn more because you hear something, and I'm like, because it doesn't finish on the Mishnah. It carries on.